Hello, happy Tuesday. It is Mars Day. Tuesday is Mars Day, and Mars rules Aries and also Scorpio. But Scorpio is also ruled by Pluto. I'm not going to be doing a reading for Aries today, but I'm going to be telling a story. And I might pull some cards for Aries in a bit on a separate video. There we go. So, Mars. Mars is the arrival, the first house. So, Aries is ruled by the first house, and this is the story I want to talk about. The arrival. The arrival was war. It's about, fertility, but also war. And controlling, when the story of God arriving to this earth, and he impregnated the mother by force and invasion, just like an alien planet invading another one. And this planet already had creatures in it that I've had visions of them. They too were at war. And this great tree came and asked them to stop war. So she removed the dagger, and it said biblically it says God said for this stuff to happen, so he commanded it, and then it happened. Now, if we're thinking about the Greek and the Odyssey, Zeus, which was god of heaven, commanded that humans be, this earth be created per se, and that humans be made, and he made them in his form. So there's kind of some alignment there, which I find very interesting, and I've also had a lot of visions around it. So this is the tree of life that came, that was indeed scorpionic, because it was the great mother, the mother that created Scorpio to defend all the beasts that Orion wanted to kill. And if you think that she created Scorpio and sent him to kill Orion, you are sorely mistaken, because the great mother would not send someone to do the job when she could do it herself. No, she transformed into Scorpio. And Sagittarius, because he was the guardian of heaven with his bow, he has God energy himself, and that is the wounded. I'll tell another story of that. It's the wounded healer. So he metamorphosed after he got his wound of Cryon, and then he became Sagittarius and that's why he was able to defeat Scorpio. But just like Scorpio defeated Orion, she didn't kill him. She had him drop his bow because he opened his heart. And then therefore Sagittarius did the same thing with Scorpio, opening the heart. And so Scorpio is ruled not just by Mars here, which today is Mars Day, but Scorpio is also ruled by Pluto, as I said. And Pluto is the planet of mystery and death and rebirth, and also Hades, the ruler of the underworld. And also debt and bondage. So in death and rebirth. So there's lots of mystery there. And so you have to think outside of the box, like Athena. And Athena was, in fact, the tree that, as she created Eve, per se, and she was Midas, incarnated in heaven. Midas shrunk down to nothingness when Zeus bit her and swallowed her, and she shrunk down to a mere cell and infiltrated his mind and gathered all of his information he had. That's just one man. And obviously, he didn't have that much information. He didn't even know she was the queen of the universe. He swallowed her thinking she was nothing. But she gained all of his information and popped out his head as what? The goddess of knowledge. And so she was smart enough not to say, hey, I'm that fairy you just ate. Instead, she allowed him to use her, or pretended to allow him to use her, to wage a war against his brother, Poseidon, and she used it as an opportunity to test Poseidon and see if he was worthy of becoming the king of Earth, the original Earth, which was creation itself. Because if you think it becomes, is the air we breathe. It is how everyone's related and connected to one another. It can take many forms and many shapes. So she swallowed, knowingly, she swallowed the fruit as Eve, as breath, because she was the breath that breathed into the humans. When the humans were created in the Odyssey, they had 4 arms and 4 legs, and Zeus didn't like that. They'd be too powerful, and he wanted to rule them. So he split them in half. And then they're just vessels, though, and for the gods to enter. And Athena entered Eve, because it was the queen of that world that was supposed to enter, and then he was going to enter the other vessel, and they were going to be married and be united, and then therefore in spirit they would be united and everyone would see. However, Eve, who was really Athena, who was really Metis, swallowed the fruit, so that Zeus agreed to put there, and it's all of the knowledge, and all of the knowledge of the tree, of everything, swallowed it she's like the witch who swallowed the stone just to sink, swallowed it to really obtain all that information, to really unlock, to be the key. And so I'm going to read about the Vesta. This card drew me to it. So this is the only card I'm going to actually be reading today. Actually, that's a lie. I'm going to read this one too. The root. But first, I'm going to read about Vesta. Vesta calls you to be a hearth fire, to share yourself for the benefit of all, but still have enough energy left to live healthfully and give again and again, and give again another way, give again another day. The second largest and brightest asteroid between Jupiter and Mars, was named after Vesta, oldest goddess of hearth, home, and family, and the center of a strong community. The fire in her temple was never allowed to go out, and the fire in the hearth of every home was sacred to her. She did not get involved in politics or the misadventures of the other gods. Action. Evaluate yourself and your life. Each human's task is to help reduce the total suffering of Earth and increase the total joy. Your joy and suffering matter as much, neither more nor less, than anyone else's. And remember, we are all vibrational beings, so the vibrations that you emit, others can feel it in your surroundings or even around in the block, and it affects their own energy. And some can tap into the entire Earth grid. So do not burn yourself up for another's cause, nor withhold your warmth, but share what you have to offer. This is not a situation where you need to take sides. Come back to center, to the flame, to your hearth and your core values. Focus on that center flame instead of the personalities involved. Remember what matters. Find that deep calm within. Light a candle with a prayer and use it to bring your focus to the center and let the rest fall away. Bring your focus to the center and let the rest fall away. Then decide, advise, and operate from there. It may be time to take a retreat, a chance to clear yourself, clear your energy field, cleanse your environment, reclaim your temple. If a relationship is truly of value and importance to your soul, the person or team you're involved with will honor your process. Challenge. Vesta warns you to share yourself rather than sacrifice yourself. Your hard work at holding the situation together may be ignored or taken for granted unless you know your worth. Gift. Find the temple within, the place of quiet safety where you can tend the fire and carry this sacred temple with you always. So that was Vesta. That was very pretty. It's very insightful too. And so I'm going to read. Honestly, I can't pronounce that, but I'll look it up later. I'm going to read this, and it's about the root. And I know I've heard that word before, and it is, I'm pretty sure it was something doing with the how the trees connect to everything and the branches, and like a source kind of card or thing. The Imum Koli or something like that. 38. Imagine your spine extends down into the earth. So after you let everything go, and you release it, and then you know your worth, and then you claim it and ground yourself. The strong central root under a tree through the earth to a point on the sun's path below. And the word is Latin for bottom of the sky. Imum Coli, or IC, points to the points to the memories and experiences that fed your first roots, your early home life, your family's traditions, and your biological and emotional heritage. Or, as I shared here today in this video, the story of creation itself, and where the souls, many of these souls that are here being awakened today, have came from and originated from. So actions, look to the roots. Think about what makes you feel at home and secure. What creates sanctuary for you? Investigate the foundations and become conscious of the traditions and assumptions that underlie this situation. Lean into habits that help you feel secure and grounded. See, and that was, creating a world that was familiar. They created a world here on this earth that was familiar to them. But what was it before? It was a spiritual planet of water. Yesterday, we had a trine. We had a trine yesterday of Mars that was sitting in Cancer, and Saturn, which is the planet of structure, and you could say creation itself because it's a planet of agriculture. So, and that is sitting in Pisces, so they're both in water. Mars in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces, and they trined yesterday, which meant that they were giving strength to one another. And that also meant that anything you focus on and your motivation and your actions needs to have structure. And it was being encouraged to have structure because whatever you're focusing on right now and the actions you're taking right now can affect you for the next five years of your life or so. So, our human lives are really important. Even like when we do dishes with our hands, we're moving our hands around. We're moving energy when we move our hands in this human vessel, consciously or unconsciously, especially when thoughts are involved as well. Everything is vibration and frequency. And all the negative thoughts we have, when we were having them, we've grown quite a bit as a human species, but so much hate and negativity and negative thoughts, it made it where the beings of the upper realms couldn't come here and incarnate here. And those were the stars that we see in our sky right now that have already died and have incarnated here. And now there is a new galaxy that we can't even see, but that it can see us. And you should definitely be aware of that as well.